Welcome everybody to Forza. Today we're dealing with a 2015 Porsche Macan Turbo. Now, after being released a few years ago, this marked Porsche's first foray into the crossover utility vehicle market. Sorry about that, I forgot that then. Or CUV for short. And that follows their first time into the saloon sports car market with the Panamera, and prior to that the SUV market with the Cayenne. And yeah, I'm a bit tentative with this, to be honest, but we'll first talk about how practical it is. And yeah, it can still carry a hell of a lot in terms of boot space, like the Cayenne, and can still seat 5 adults in comfort, like the Cayenne. Though obviously with the Cayenne being a bigger car, it's that ever so slightly more practical. But as you can see, it's still not exactly cramped in there. And being a Porsche, it's going to be highly luxurious and highly well made, which is something to be expected with Porsches nowadays. But the best part of this car for me is the engine. Now, it's a 3.6 litre V6 engine, which has 2 turbochargers, producing 400 horsepower and 406 pounds-feet of torque, which again, like the 911 Turbo, is Porsche making cars have the amount of torque that they do have in terms of horsepower, which gives it a really nice surge and in terms of acceleration, and gives it quite a meaty feel. Gives it a really nice feel when you're hammering it down a track, that's for sure. But yeah, in terms of looks, well, it's pretty much kind of like the Cayenne in terms of the front. I'm just not a fan of it really. I think it's just, yeah, a bit too gopping awful really. But from the rear, I actually like the rear in terms of the curved roundness of it, and I like the headlights as well. And it's got 4 exhausts as well to go for it, to give it another kind of sporty feel to it. Because this is supposed to be more of a sports version of the Cayenne, being lower, lighter, and a lot more sport focused than the Cayenne ever was. And yeah, that kind of comes through into the fact that even though it has less horsepower than the Cayenne on this game, it's not exactly all that much slower, and that helps thanks to the fact that it doesn't weigh all that much either. It's about 500 pounds less in weight, and with its lower ride height and the lack of weight, it also handles and brakes better as well. But to really get into this, you have to go onto the track. So yeah, let's go on to the track and see what it can do. So welcome to Laguna Seca. We're going to take this car around on the first lap and talk through it on the second lap. So yeah, came to Laguna Seca just to show off the handling really, because yeah, this is a really decent handling car for what it is. especially for something that weighs 4,244 pounds as well. It handles really rather well. Plus you get to hear this engine all the more on a track like this, where it's not just all about straight line speed, it's acceleration as well. And yeah, the engine is the best part about this car as far as I'm concerned. It sounds absolutely brilliant, and it helps in terms of acceleration to have such a nice, powerful and torquey engine. 0 to 60, 4.2 seconds, 0 to 100 in 12.066 seconds, and it'll go on to 164 mile an hour. It really is quite impressive for a crossover vehicle like this. Though quite why you'd go for a Porsche crossover, I'm not really quite sure. Because granted, it does work off-road to some extent, apparently. Though whether or not it's as good as a Cayenne, I don't know. But in essence, I'd rather have the Cayenne than this, because the Cayenne is more honest, I guess you could say, because this is trying to be all things to everybody. The Cayenne's just an SUV car that happens to be quick. This is trying to be a family car, it's trying to be a sports car, it's trying to be an off-road car, it's trying to be everything all at once. And it just comes across as a bit muddled really, and I just don't see the point in it really. If you wanted a high-riding SUV kind of car, then go for the Cayenne, but if you want a sports car, then go for a 911 and get a ordinary cheap crossover to help with the family. I just don't see the point in buying a car like this for the purposes of, you know, going to a school run, for instance. Though obviously it probably comes more down to the badge than anything, because I'm pretty sure the diesel version of this is one of the best selling versions of the car. So yeah, it's more about the badge and the status, air quotes there over that, than anything else when it comes to this kind of car. And yeah, it's, even though it is a good car to drive on the track, I just feel like if you wanted a good fast Porsche, then go for a 911. You can still fit kids in the back of a 911 turbo. Obviously it doesn't have this boot space, but you can still fit the kids in the back of one of them nonetheless. And yeah, and then you've still got a one of the best supercars in the world at the end of the day, even after the school run. So yeah, it's just not a car that I'm really a big fan of. I can respect it for what it can do, considering the kind of market it's trying to be in and how good it is in that market, and it's certainly better than all the other kind of crossover vehicles. But that's not saying a lot, because they're not really that good anyway. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.